and action.
We are live from New York.
Why are
I
we
don't.
always from New York?
Is the hip hop happiest place to
We're
be?
we're like it's not quite as far away as you can get from New York, but pretty far.
I'm pretty close to as far as away as you can get from New York right now. I'm on the
That's true.
Oregon. I'm on the West
I'm
Coast,
like as far away
baby.
from I can get from like you and New York and Texas. If I was trying to be like as far away from all three of those places at once, that's
I'd
where I
I'd
am right now.
personally try to be as far away from Texas as possible. So good move on your part. Anyway, we are.
Apologies if we have anyone from Texas.
I'm not sorry.
All right, what are we reviewing today, Bob?
We are reviewing Infimum by FlagCapper. Tom, is this the Bob and Tom show?
I don't know what that is, but
I'm
my
pretty sure
name
that's a
is
radio
not
show. I
Tom.
don't know. We'll have to
But I
look
know
that
your
up at
name's
some
not Bob
point.
either. So
Anyway, we're
anyway,
reviewing an entry for the minimalism contest,
yeah. So this is an entry.
spearheaded by the other guy with the camera, not me.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
No, it was spearheaded by ZN Freak.
oh, was it spearheaded by ZN Free?
I mean, I
Uh,
entered in it,
oh yeah, you did enter it.
this was the one that won, far and
Yes,
away. So we're unless someone begs us to review the others, we're just gonna skip them and talk about this one.
yes. This is by far one of the longest, with the exception of Broken, and
Oh yeah, Broken is a lot
also
longer, but this is the longest like
yeah,
track with like conventional.
yeah,
It's the longest
yes.
convent. Yeah. Anyway,
Yep.
with 300 lines, like a minute and a half, and it has all the normal. Anyway, let's watch it.
Yes.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Bam.
We need to get out of this habit of talking about what the track is before we watch it.
This is true. I like FlagCapper's intros because he's just like,
Yeah,
this is this is this.
Here it
This is what
is.
it is.
yeah.
Here are all the things I used. I love this intro. It's just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth.
I love
Like,
these
right-
3 lines that he does manuals on.
Four.
There's 4, sorry.
You get right out of the gate that it feels like very just organized, and the variations in movement are what make each little level different. And from there, it's just a bunch of doodles. I have to admit, I wasn't expecting that to be reused as a fling, though.
There's a lot of lines that get reused, and a lot of lines that have an effect that sort of travels. You know?
Yeah. I love those sound waves.
Like every like little cluster will have like an effect on something for a long time.
Yeah.
Like you'll have a nose manual, but it'll like be like one line, and then he'll start to fall, and then the next line will catch him.
Yeah. And then it just
Like this part.
absolute slowdown. Oh, this part is just so like tense for some reason.
Well, because he's like way overbalanced, and you're like,
Yeah.
and you know that he doesn't have a lot of lines, so he's like barely balancing it,
Yeah.
and that's what makes it really fun.
Yeah, this is so just ridiculously precise too. This is the best
Some
part.
Nice animation with the minimal lines.
Far and
Pretty
away,
impressive.
my favorite part. And then there's the little invisible bit, and then just guiding along right next to it.
Yeah,
And then it ends.
and then it's done. And
It
it
does
uses
make-
exactly 300 lines, which is really impressive given how long it is and how much like conventional, quirk and manuals and other things there is in the track.
No kidding. I was watching that at
And
quarter
how
speed.
nicely, like how tightly synced the whole thing is.
Yeah, no.
That's what's
he
really
makes,
cool about it.
He's really economical with his
Should
use
we-
of lines.
0.25 speed and start it from the beginning?
From the beginning, how about 11 seconds or
Oh yeah, there's like a long. Let's do 10 seconds.
okay. I'm ready.
All right, 3, 2, 1, go.
Nice fade into.
So I think if I mean, I don't have a lot of criticism for this track because a lot of it does these really cool new things based on the limitations, and you can tell it's not easy to do, and most of them are done really well. But the biggest critique I have for this track is that it's like a lot of doodles.
Yes.
There's definitely no overarching structure to this track, and you can tell he was just like, let's try this thing. Ooh, that works. And there was probably
Mhm.
things that he deleted along the way, but most of the track doesn't have anything to do with the rest of the track. Um,
But like, imagine if somebody made an entire track of just like these sort of like manual things going through equal levels.
well, it's
How,
like these are all really cool tools that people could, like really cool techniques that people could use um, in like a bigger track or more a track with
yeah,
more of a purpose slash
FlagCapper is
message.
definitely exploring a lot of structures that up to this point have not been that
Yeah, like
explored.
this part. Well, first of all, there's those flat lines which are really cool, and then there's this which is like a tail manual, but instead of just being a smooth curve, it's because he can't do smooth curves. It's the
Yeah,
big thing he can't do. He can't do smooth curves, and he can't do big flings, and so he has these really long lines that keep him balanced in a tail manual, which is really impressive, you know.
hmm
And there's a tiny amount of lines, and then like he uses these little quirk bits where he'll just recycle little bits, and it like he uses this line like that big line he uses in like five different ways in
yeah.
that.
This
Um,
part here I was really impressed by because it's used as a quirky curve once,
yeah,
and then it pops him into fakie, and he goes around and he uses it as a tail fakie again.
he uses
And
a different quirky curve on his tail, and then he recycles it as a fling. I think there's a
yeah,
couple lines added to make that work, but still, it's really impressive.
absolutely. Um,
And then we have little bits of quirk that'll like pull him,
music sync.
yeah, music sync, and so they'll just flip him a little bit, and it just small amounts of lines to get the effect of the rotation that he wants to
hmm
sync to the music.
And what I like about the syncs is that there's different like levels of it. There's like a light tap, and then there's parts that work with the rolling feel of the piano.
And I really like this, where you have these little waveforms above him as he's
hmm
traveling. Um, like, as he was like, "Oh, I have 300 green lines to use," and this was like a really cool like animation style because, as you can see, like that this kind of animation doesn't take a lot of lines, so it doesn't take a lot of
Yeah,
work, but it really pays off. And the biggest thing about animation is that it takes so freaking long, and so maybe people could use a style like this to make
yeah.
something that it wouldn't take so freaking long.
Okay, so I'm starting to figure out by watching this in slow mo the key to how he gets these manuals that sort of appear a little bit balanced,
Yeah,
which is that when they start to tip a certain way, that's when he just changes to a different line.
yeah. Well, what he's probably doing is with LRA, he's like scrubbing to the end of the line and then moving it around until it's balanced. You
Yeah.
know. So then he's using the LRA tools um, to balance the manuals. Well, you could do that in LRJS too.
hmm
I actually I mean, I didn't use it to balance manuals with long lines, but anyway.
And this part here conveys a lot of motion with just a single
Yeah, because
line.
it's just one line, but he's tumbling a lot on it. If there's
And
one similarity with my entry and his entry, it's that moment.
and then after this next bit of tumbling, he just catches him into this just immediate slowdown, which I think actually works pretty well because it also signals that it's moving into the next section here, and
Yeah.
uses the last bit as a little tip, and boom.
This part's just really cool because you can feel like how overbalanced it is. And I think again
Yeah,
he's using the scrubby tool. He's using the scrubbing tools to like move it, like to get the line so that he's just like this and it looks like it's like not something you would see without the advanced tools. So it's really cool.
yeah.
Um, and no one's ever done something like this, so it's really fun to watch.
And then I think there's yeah,
More of these long line manuals.
yeah. I really appreciate how he was able to make it like not feel sloppy,
Yeah.
even if it was really like the opposite of smooth.
Yeah, yeah. It's like it's not smooth at all because you can't do that with such a low line count. But it feels very intentional. It doesn't feel lazy, which is
hmm
which is a good
Usually
thing.
how it's usually how unsmooth curves go. It's just like, oh, you gave up at this point.
Yeah, yeah. but because it's so balanced with so few lines, it's like it takes it in a totally different direction, and the result is, oh wow, that's really balanced.
Yeah,
You know,
it's less of a oh you were lazy and more of an oh holy crap what's going on here, and then it cuts to this animation which
this animation is really cool for like the small amount of lines that he has. It works really
yeah
well. I mean, this
just
is another thing where it's like this didn't take a lot of effort to make this, um, and it can be really cool to see people use that. You know, use that idea of animating with minimal lines because it looks really cool and it did not take much time.
no kidding. And then the little invisible quirk. Props to Lucking for that.
Also, that was my girlfriend's favorite part. She didn't understand anything else, but she really liked the animation.
Yeah, the animation. It just looks neat,
Yeah.
and it's one of those things where like you don't need to understand how it works to look at it and go like, oh, that's cool.
And then there's the Invisiquirk and then the Cramule. I'm impressed that he was able to like like Cramule stop Bosch and then stall it with like it looks so nice and he had exactly the line count. It's like
Oh, that's so freaky.
how did he manage to get that so perfect? Like what did he I don't know what he did, but quite impressive.
I just assume he's a wizard until proven otherwise. Hmm. Yeah, this is neat. It follows that sort of miniature and blue, like say a lot with a little
Yeah,
style
which
that
I'm really
FlagCapper's been.
excited that FlagCapper is going in this direction. So I guess my biggest critique is why have we not seen another track since this? This was in May, and it's August.
Please, FlagCapper, baby, give me a new track.
But then the other thing is like I don't know. Can you make something that's not just okay? Miniature and blue
Doodles.
was better than this track
Yes.
as a whole, just because it feels a lot more cohesive.
Yes.
It feels like a complete thing. Whereas
Right.
this track is more impressive because it does so many things with so few lines, but
Right.
it doesn't feel like it holds together as a whole. It kind
Yeah.
of feels like a lot of ideas, and they're all really good ideas, but they don't connect to each other, and other than like the constraint. So
Yeah.
this is
I
a
would say
really good
Infimum.
contest entry, but like as a
Yeah.
standalone track, it's miniature and blue is better. So I would love to see some of these ideas in this one expanded on
Yes.
into
Absolutely.
like maybe take a couple ideas from this and make like a full track and really like dig into those and see what you can do with them. I would love to see that.
Absolutely.
Just making it, with the goal of making it something more complete feeling.
Absolutely. I am 100% a fan of all of the possibilities that this creates. This gives me ideas.
Yeah, yeah.
This is that's a pretty high praise. I like it.
That
Uh,
if you know OTDE here, he's all about the ideas. So this gives me ideas is probably the highest praise you can get.
this is, and boy howdy does this give me ideas. Uh,
So,
oh,
anything else to say, or is that it? I mean, I guess that's
I think
pretty
I
much
think
it.
that's really it. FlagCapper is
Make
gonna look at this and he's gonna hear us and he's gonna hear the make more. And if he feels like it, he'll probably just be like Roger that. But FlagCapper, if you're hearing this,
well, as you could see, we
keep
liked
making
it,
it.
and we want more. Is basically the gist of this. So, yeah,
Yes, please. All right,
that's
radical.
all we have to say. So, yeah, that's we'll end it there.
This,
Bye.
this has been Bob and Tom from live from New York. I don't know.